Welcome to the Meta Report, and today I will show you 5 best performing decks from tier 1 in order to hit Legend. Mech is still the most powerful deck in the meta, mostly because of magnetic mechanic and because it's super flexible. We've got a lot of options, we can be aggressive, we also got the board clear with the launcher and also Venomizer, we can cheat on mana with the Galvanizer. The only weakness of this deck is that we do not have card draw, except the Ursatron and tracking. That's why those two options are pretty important. Tracking, okay, we'll discard 2 cards, but you don't really care about it if you will already win with the Leroy that you will pick out from this card. Also, you can just get any kind of different big drop, which will be Zilix or even Boommaster Flark. Here, if you do not have this option, any kind of legendary, you can pretty easily replace it with, for example, second copy of the Replicating Menace. I also saw that Animal Companion works pretty well in this kind of deck. Here we also have got the bonus option because this deck is super weak against the Token Druid, but in order to counter them or just, have any kind of way of making a comeback, you've got Unleash the Hounds with Direwolf Alpha, so it helps with trades. And this is a comeback of the Hearthstone because the second most powerful deck is also Hunter. So you probably remember the Secret Hunter. The biggest strength of it is that your opponent do not always know how to play around a specific secret. So like the biggest strength of this deck is sometimes not the right secret, but the opportunity for your opponent to misplay, because they will try to play around this kind of thing, and in the end it will be something completely different. So you just activated my trap card and you made a mistake. So basically game plan is pretty simple. During the early game you want to most of the times just play on curve, but also when you will have coining out a secret that won't be activated in order to play the Sun River Spy, it's a pretty good play. Then if any kind of aggressive game plan won't be strong enough in order to deal with our opponent, then we've got Zul'jin as a backup option and also just a win condition basically, because we'll create a really huge board, especially when we'll have Unleash the Beast. Once again, Hunter got this problem that we do not have any kind of efficient card draw, so that's why we've got Subject 9, because it almost makes up for it when we'll get a lot of secrets from our deck, and when we'll fin it, we'll have better odds of gaining actually something more powerful, which will be most of the times just Zul'jin or Unleash the Beast. Also, interesting option out from the Mark Shot, you can get, for example, Dire Frenzy. So if you're like low on cards, you can just play this on the Life Drinker in order to shuffle more stuff into your deck, and then with Zul'jin basically you will have additional 3 copies in your deck. It's really good against a Control Warrior. Once again, a slightly different variation of the Murloc Shaman, which is a pretty powerful thing. Any kind of deck that tries to play on curve, it's most of the times just favored in Hearthstone. So here, once again, pretty simple plan, just be aggressive, trade only if you want to protect any kind of important minion, which will be like Murloc War Leader. Also, you want to keep Underbelly Angler. Most of the times, it's not the best thing in order to play this on turn 2, but still, okay, it all depends, because against the control deck, you want to play this a little bit later, because basically you need just 2 Murlocs, Underbelly, and any other cheap Murloc in order to refill your whole hand. But if you know that your opponent won't be able to kill it, just play this on turn 2. And then also as some sort of backup option and just a different variation of this deck, we've got Scourgel. You might argue with this kind of choice, but this is a pretty powerful option, especially when we've got Murloc Tasty Fin. You play this on like turn 5 and you've got a decent amount of stats. Your opponent will need to kill it right away, and also you can just like cheat a little bit. And also it works really well with the Underbelly Angler, especially on in the late game, because you will be able to create the whole board just with Scourgel and Underbelly, and also, do not spend too much mana and refill your hand. And Haggadah the Witch, which is pretty good, even if you might think like, oh, okay, but I will kill my little cute Murlocs. But no, it's not a big deal, because we'll get more spells out from it, and then Bloodlust as a win condition. Token Druid is still a viable option, but right now the whole deck changed a little bit because we do not have Whispering Woods and we've got way more mechs. A lot of those cards were already used in this kind of deck, which is pretty cool because we'll be able to right now magnetize something, even like a Snip Snap, and also create more tokens. So basically this is like the most refined and the best version of the Token Druid right now. The game plan is still really simple. Most of the times just play like some sort of aggressive deck, but you want to have a wide board, and then play basically something like Blessing of the Ancients or Power of the Wild in order to buff all the stuff on board that you probably already know. Also, a lot of spells synergize with Wargod and with Keeper's Talandries. If you do not have, for some reason, this card, it's not a big deal. You can replace it pretty easily with something else, like another Mecharoo, the Forest's Aid, if you face a lot of control warriors, so it all depends from the different matchup. And even I managed to find a second copy of the Spellbreaker, pretty useful, just like I mentioned. Right now, Mech Paladin and Mech Hunter, those are pretty viable options, and most of the times you just miss one silence effect in order to counter those decks. So you can still like change a few things about this deck, and it's pretty cheap. So yep, and then as a win condition, you basically play Savage Roar. So the most simple way to win: create a huge board, buff your boys, burst. Control Warrior is still a viable option. It counters most of the aggressive decks from the tier 1, so even if you won't be able to shuffle second copy of the Archivist, it's not a big deal because fatigue, game plan, win condition, whatever, it's not the most reliable option against the aggressive decks. So here, still, game plan is pretty simple. But during the early game, we do not have too many options, but then we just wait for the magic turn. Most of the times it will be something like turn 4, 5, or 6, because we'll be able to clear most of the opponent minions with Warpath or with Brawl. Also, all those rush minions will help us during the early/mid game in order to trade to our opponent's stuff. So that's why we've got Militia Commander, because right away you will get some sort of small bonus, and because basically Control Warrior, right now it's almost like half of this deck consists of mechs, with Omega Assembly, with Dr. Boom Genius, whatever. That's why we also have got Snip Snap, because this is a pretty good option just to get a small buff, and especially when you've got Rush out from Dr. Boom Genius, you can deal even more points of damage. So for 3 mana, which is pretty solid. And also then a pretty cool combo with Weapons Project and Hearthstone Journey, so you will be able to, on turn 7+, get 3 cards, which is pretty important, because not only you want to like gain value against the opponent deck, so basically, for example, when they will dump in a lot of cards, when you will play Brawl, you use 1 card in order to kill maybe like 3 or 4 cards that your opponent played, and also at the same time, when you will need to like speed up the game, you will need a lot more cards, and that's why this Hearthstone Jones will help you a lot. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know if I missed any kind of deck, and if you would like to see tier 2 decks soon. And for now, thank you very much, and see you in the next videos.